Waiver wire winners for fantasy football heading into Week 14. Ramondre Stevenson may miss some time with an ankle injury. Zeke's a bit banged up himself, but he should take over as the lead back in New England. 17 attempts for 52 rushing yards wasn't super efficient, but what was appealing was the 4 catches for 40 yards. Over 20 touches in Week 13 is a positive sign. First-round rookie Quentin Johnston finished his third game with double-digit fantasy points in Week 13. He earned a season-high 7 targets, and he caught 5 of them for 52 yards. Fifth game over 10 yards per catch. Wide receiver 2 role behind Keenan Allen, attached to Justin Herbert, who has plenty of passing volume. Since Week 10, second-round rookie Jonathan Mingo has earned 7, 6, 6, and then 10 targets. He caught 6 of those 10 targets in Week 13 for 69 receiving yards. Back-to-back weeks with 60-plus receiving yards and double-digit fantasy points is a positive trend. Quick reminder that before the Week 13 bye, rookie Roschon Johnson carried the ball 10 times for 35 yards and caught 5 passes for 40 yards. He out-touched Khalil Herbert 15-8 in Week 12. It was Roschon Johnson's third week catching 4 to 6 passes. He's had 5 weeks of 4-plus yards per carry. It might be a committee in Chicago, but I think there's a chance that he is the 1A in it. Elijah Moore has earned 21 targets across the last 2 games. He finished with a season-high 83 receiving yards with Joe Flacco at quarterback, who he's had a history with back with the New York Jets. Amari Cooper also suffered a concussion in Week 13. Noah Brown had a goose egg after his return from injury. He missed 2 games before Week 13. Weeks 9 and 10, though, he scored 24-plus fantasy points in both of those games, finishing with 153 and then 172 receiving yards. Tank Dell unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury, which opens the door for Noah Brown. Christian Kirk left last night's game with an injury. Zay Jones ended up catching 5 of 8 targets for 78 receiving yards. Zay Jones opened up the season scoring 16.5 fantasy points, and he's missed some time this year due to injury. But when he's on the field, he's been productive, and now we might have Christian Kirk out a bit. Rookie Demario Douglas missed Week 13, but in his last 5 games played, he's earned 6, 7, 7, 9, and 9 targets. 84 receiving yards in Week 10, 6 weeks at 40-plus receiving yards. Positive signs for his involvement and role with the Patriots. Right before the Week 13 bye, Jalen Hyatt, the rookie, had a breakout game, catching 5 of 6 targets for 109 receiving yards, 15.9 fantasy points. Hyatt can carve out a substantial role rest of season. The Ravens had a bye in Week 13. In Week 12, Isaiah Likely caught 4 of 6 targets for 40 yards. 3 top 10 tight end finishes as a rookie with scores of 19.7 and 18.3 fantasy points last season. Tight end 1 for the Ravens on a team that likes to use the tight end position with Mark Andrews out for the season. 43 and 44 receiving yards the last 2 weeks, 9 targets across this span for Gerald Everett. He's had 3 top 10 tight end finishes for fantasy so far this season. Derrick Henry exited Week 13's game, and Tyjae Spears ended up rushing the ball 16 times for 75 yards. He had 4 receptions, 12.8 fantasy points. It was his third week with double-digit fantasy points this season. Coach Vrabel said Derrick Henry does not have a concussion, but the rookie has been very involved this season with the Titans' offense. 5 weeks of 4 receptions. And due to the pass-catching upside, along with him being next up, if anything were to happen, knock on wood, to Derrick Henry, he should just be picked up. DeAndre Swift may be dealing with an injury, so this might be more of a push if he were to miss some time. But Kenneth Gainwell caught 5 passes for 42 yards in Week 13. It was his second game this season with 5 catches. And this move would only be if both Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet were to miss Week 14. But keep an eye on DJ Dallas. He would simply be, in default, the next man up for the Seattle backfield. And then if you're looking for a quarterback, Matthew Stafford has been a top 8 fantasy quarterback in back-to-back weeks. 7 touchdowns across this span. This season, he's had 3 weeks over 300 passing yards. I think the volume through the air is there. Follow us at Fantrax for consistent fantasy football content as we approach the fantasy football playoffs.